San Diego, a senior U.S. Navy officer was sentenced to 18 months in prison, and another censured for their roles in a huge corruption scandal linked to a Singapore-based defense contractor known as Fat Leonard Francis. The scandal that went back to at least 2007 cost the United States government about $35 million $47 million, and is the biggest in the history of the U.S. Navy. Navy Commander Bobby Pitts, 48, who was in charge of the Fleet Industrial Supply Command in Singapore, was sentenced last Friday to 18 months in prison, according to a statement from the Office of the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of California. Former Rear Admiral Kenneth Norton was given a letter of censure by the Secretary of the Navy for his role in the case. Leonard Glenn Fat Leonard Francis was arrested by federal agents in 2013 in a sting operation in San Diego and has pleaded guilty to bribing scores of U.S. Navy officials. His Singapore-based company Glenn Defense Marine Asia, GDMA, provided services to U.S. Navy ships including fuel and tugboats at Asian ports. The Washington Post reported last month that corruption investigation into the so-called Fat Leonard case has expanded to include more than 60 admirals and hundreds of other Navy officers. Previous media reports said at least 20 Navy personnel had been indicted, after being accused of taking bribes from Francis, a Malaysian businessman, in the form of lavish gifts, prostitutes and luxury hotel stays, suckling pigs and Cuban cigars. The corruption scandal, which has engulfed the U.S. Navy over the past 4 years, has only deepened as more details emerge. The Navy said it has tightened oversight of its contracting process, following the scandal. Pitts had pleaded guilty in 2015 to bribery and fraud charges, and that he tried to block the probe. U.S. District Judge Janice Sammartino told Pitts he had betrayed the Navy and betrayed the country. Pitts deliberately and methodically undermined government operations and in doing so, diverted his allegiance from his country and colleagues to a foreign defense contractor, and for that, he is paying a high price, said U.S. Attorney Adam Braverman. Pitts was also ordered by the court to pay $22,500 in fines and restitution. Meanwhile, former Rear Admiral Norton, who retired from the Navy in 2014, was found to have repeatedly and improperly accepted gifts from GDMA, according to a statement from Secretary of the Navy Richard Spencer. I decided that Rear Admiral, retired, Norton's conduct reflected improper personal behavior and set a wholly unethical tone of leadership. Censure was both necessary and appropriate, said Captain Spencer in a statement, as quoted on the U.S. Naval Institute website. Rear Admiral, RET, Norton was commander of the Japan-based aircraft carrier USS Ronald Reagan during the 2008 to 2010 period. Captain Spencer said a review of what the admiral did concluded that he intentionally disregarded the ethical standards long established for the naval service and brought ill repute and disgrace upon the U.S. Navy.